Welcome back. Last time we left off with the Morgul Lord, the Witch King of Angmar himself,
Yeah.
firmly established as Sauron's chief lieutenant, wreaking havoc on Gondor. The stage is set for the War of the Ring, and I can't wait to hear how the Nazgûl factor into all of this.
Well, it all begins with a mission. Seemingly straightforward,
Right.
yet laden with the fate of Middle-earth. Sauron tasks the Nazgûl with recovering the One Ring, the very source of his power, and the key to his dominion overall.
Okay, so the fate of Middle-earth hinges on a ring, no pressure there. Where does this quest for the One Ring lead the Nazgûl?
Their search takes them to an unlikely place, the Shire, homeland of the hobbits, a place untouched by the darkness
Right.
that had been slowly creeping over Middle-earth. It was there that the ring had been hidden,
Yeah.
kept safe for decades far from Sauron's reach.
The Shire, those peaceful hobbits and their idyllic lives. It's hard to imagine the Nazgûl blending in there.
You can imagine the terror.
Yeah.
Those hobbits felt as the Nazgûl descended upon their quiet land,
Right.
their black cloaks and chilling presence casting a pall over the Shire, shattering the peace they had known for generations.
That's a haunting image. So, these terrifying wraiths are on the hunt for the One Ring. Do they manage to retrieve it?
Their pursuit was relentless. They were close on several occasions to capturing the ring. But fate, or perhaps something more, intervened. A combination of luck,
Okay.
the bravery of those hobbits,
Right.
and the intervention of forces allied against Sauron thwarted them at every turn.
Give me an example. Was there a particular encounter during this quest that really stands out?
One moment, filled with dread and yet tinged with hope, occurred at the ford of Brunnen near the elven realm of Rivendell. The Nazgûl, disguised as those ominous black riders,
Right.
cornered Frodo Baggins,
Okay.
the very hobbit entrusted with the safekeeping of the ring.
Oh, no, that sounds ominous. Poor Frodo. Was this the end of the line for him in the ring?
It was a desperate moment, to be sure. Frodo, wounded and weary from his flight from the Shire,
Right.
was facing overwhelming odds. But just when all hope seemed lost, Elrond, the elven lord of Rivendell, unleashed the power of the river itself.
Wait, he unleashed the power of the river? How is that even possible?
The elves, as I mentioned, possess an ancient magic,
Uh-huh.
a magic that is deeply intertwined with the natural world.
Right.
Elrond, using this power, commanded the Brunnen to rise up against the Nazgûl.
Okay.
The river, imbued with elven magic, surged forth, transforming into a raging torrent that swept away the Nazgûl and their mounts.
Wow. That is incredible. So the Nazgûl were defeated. End of story.
While they were driven back, their forms temporarily dispersed.
Right.
Their mission was far from over. Sauron, enraged by their failure,
Yeah.
bestowed upon his servants a new means of pursuing the ring mounts, of terrifying power and ferocity.
Hold on, new mounts. This is where things get really interesting. What kind of creatures were deemed worthy of carrying these terrifying riders?
Sauron gifted the Nazgûl with winged beasts,
Uh-huh.
creatures that instilled primal fear in the hearts of all who beheld them.
Whoa. Winged beasts. Now that's taking things to another level. Were we talking dragons? Giant bats? What exactly were these creatures?
The text described these beings as far more ancient and terrifying than dragons or bats. Imagine, if you will, monstrous serpentine forms, more akin to dragons,
Okay.
but infinitely older.
Wow.
They hailed from a time before time itself, creatures of shadow bred in Utumno, the first and most terrible fortress of Morgoth, Sauron's own master.
That's just chilling. They sound absolutely terrifying. Utumno. Just the name evokes a sense of dread. I can see why these creatures were chosen as mounts for the Nazgûl. Talk about a terrifying entrance.
Their emergence into the skies above Middle-earth ushered in a new era of terror. They were incredibly swift, able to traverse vast distances with unnatural speed.
Yeah.
They extended the reach of the Nazgûl, amplifying their ability to terrify and control the land.
They were like flying tanks of terror. I bet their presence in the sky was a truly demoralizing sight for the Free Peoples. But did these winged beasts actually give the Nazgûl a significant advantage in the War of the Ring?
They undoubtedly increased their mobility and striking power,
Okay.
allowing them to participate in key battles and spread fear throughout the land. They became instruments of Sauron's will, harbingers of his encroaching darkness. But it's important to remember that despite their terrifying appearance and increased power, the Nazgûl were still bound to the One Ring.
Right.
Their fate was inextricably linked
Yeah.
to the fate of the ring itself.
Right. That makes sense. So did the Nazgûl ultimately succeed in their mission to recover the One Ring? Did they bring it back to Sauron?
The irony is that they came closer than any other servant of Sauron to achieving that goal.
Hmm.
They were relentless in their hunt, always in pursuit,
Right.
always a breath away from capturing the ring and returning it to their master.
Yeah.
But it was their very pursuit of the ring that led to their ultimate downfall.
So the ring itself, the object of their obsession, was their undoing. That's some serious poetic justice.
Indeed. While the destruction of the One Ring was the final blow,
Right.
their demise was also a result of the courage, the resilience,
Mm-hmm.
and the sacrifices of those who stood against Sauron, the brave souls who fought for the freedom of Middle-earth.
Okay, so let's talk about the moments that led to the downfall of the Nazgûl. Where do we start?
The Battle of the Pelennor Fields was a turning point
Okay.
in the War of the Ring. It was a desperate struggle for the very survival of Gondor, and it was there that the Nazgûl faced their most significant defeat.
The Battle of the Pelennor Fields, I've read about it. Wasn't that the largest battle in the entire War of the
It
Ring?
was a massive clash of arms, a desperate fight for Middle-earth's future. Sauron's forces, led by the Witch King,
Right.
laid siege to Minas Tirith, the capital of Gondor. The fate of the free peoples hung precariously in the balance.
So the Morgul Lord finally had his chance to conquer Gondor. After centuries of planning, of chipping away at their defenses, I imagine he must have relished that moment.
He was confident,
Yeah.
consumed by his belief that victory was inevitable, that no force could stand against him. He rode at the head of Sauron's armies,
Right.
his presence on the battlefield radiating terror and despair,
Mm-hmm.
a chilling premonition of Gondor's fall.
But didn't we talk about a prophecy earlier? The one that stated the Witch King couldn't be killed by the hand of man? Did he just charge into battle assuming he was invincible?
The prophecy and his belief in it fueled his arrogance. He saw himself as untouchable, immune to the weapons of men. This belief ultimately became his undoing.
There's always a catch with prophecies. I should have known better. What happened? How did they manage to defeat this seemingly invincible foe?
During the battle, he was confronted by Éowyn, a shield maiden of Rohan.
Okay.
She challenged him, defied his pronouncements of invincibility,
Yeah.
and refused to cower before him.
Good for her. I love it when someone stands up to that kind of arrogance. What happened next?
Éowyn, aided by Merry, a hobbit who wielded a blade from the Barrow Downs, a place imbued with ancient magic that was particularly potent against the forces of darkness,
Mm-hmm.
struck a fatal blow against the Witch King. His arrogance,
Yeah.
his blind faith in the prophecy,
Yeah.
led him to underestimate his opponents, a mistake that sealed his fate.
Wow, a shield maiden of Rohan and a hobbit. Not exactly the heroes you'd expect to bring down the Witch King. What a powerful moment. But there were still 8 other Nazgûl on the battlefield. What happened to them after their leader was defeated?
Their fate was sealed soon after.
Okay.
The remaining Nazgûl, though fierce and formidable, continued to fight, driven by their insatiable hunger for the destruction of Gondor.
I can only imagine the frenzy they must have been in, desperate to avenge their fallen leader.
As the tide of the battle turned, as the forces of Mordor began to falter and retreat,
Right.
Sauron, sensing the impending destruction of the One Ring, summoned his remaining Nazgûl to Mount Doom.
Oh.
It was a last-ditch effort to reclaim the source of his power.
Oh no, I can sense this isn't going to end well for the Nazgûl. They were racing against time, weren't they? Trying to get to the ring before it was destroyed?
Imagine the scene.
Mm-hmm.
The Nazgûl upon their fearsome winged beasts, cutting through the sky, driven by their master's command. But their efforts were in vain. Frodo, with the help of his loyal companion Sam, cast the One Ring into the fires of Mount Doom, the very fires from which it was forged. And with that single selfless act, Sauron's power was shattered.
Right.
The Nazgûl, their very essence tied to the ring, were consumed by the cataclysm.
It must have been an incredible sight, a fitting end for those who had terrorized Middle-earth for so long.
Their reign of terror was finally over.
Yeah.
They were reduced to ash.
Mm-hmm.
Their spirits dissipated, their threat to Middle-earth extinguished forever.
So let me get this straight. They were once powerful kings, corrupted by the lure of power, transformed into these terrifying wraiths, and ultimately undone by the very object they craved. What a story. What an incredible rise and fall.
Their story serves as a potent reminder of the seductive nature of power,
Right.
of the dangers of ambition unchecked by morality and compassion. They were once men of great potential,
Mm-hmm.
capable of so much good,
Mm-hmm.
but they chose a path of darkness, And that choice ultimately led to their destruction.
It's a sobering thought, a reminder that the choices we make have consequences not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. Before we get too deep into that, we're going to have to pause here for now.
Join us in part 3, where we'll delve into the legacy of the Nazgûl and explore the lessons we can learn from their story.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of the Nazgûl. We've journeyed through their origins, their terrifying powers, those epic battles, and their ultimate destruction. Now it's time to reflect. What's the legacy of these once mighty kings who fell so deeply into darkness? What can their story teach us?
The Nazgûl serve as a chilling reminder, I think, of the seductive nature of power and the dangers of ambition when it's unchecked by morality.
Yeah.
They highlight the importance of holding on to one's values, even when faced with, tempting offers that promise a shortcut to power and glory.
It's like a dark fairy tale, isn't it?
It is.
A cautionary tale reminding us that even those with good intentions can be corrupted by power. That anyone, regardless of their initial intentions, can become an instrument of evil if they succumb to the lure of the ring, so to speak.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Their story serves as a warning that the pursuit of power for its own sake can have devastating consequences, not only for individuals, but for entire societies.
Right.
The Nazgûl's lust for power led to the downfall of kingdoms, the suffering of countless innocents, and ultimately their own destruction.
But amidst all this darkness, there's also a glimmer of hope, when you say.
Even when facing, overwhelming odds, those who opposed Nazgûl never gave up.
They didn't. They fought for what they believed in, for the freedom of Middle-earth, even when hope seemed lost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The story of the Nazgûl isn't just about the corrupting influence of power. It's also about the enduring strength of courage, compassion, and the unwavering belief in the ultimate triumph of good over evil.
Yeah.
Remember, the forces of good in Middle-earth were outnumbered and outmatched time and time again.
Right.
Yet they never surrendered to despair. They continued to resist, drawing strengths from their shared values, their love for their homeland, and their faith in a brighter future.
That's what makes this story so inspiring, right? It's a testament to the human spirit, to the idea that even in the darkest of times, hope endures.
Yeah.
That even the most formidable forces of evil can be overcome through courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to what is right.
You've hit the nail on the head. The Nazgûl may be gone, but their story continues to resonate with us. It serves as a reminder of the importance of vigilance, the dangers of complacency, and the enduring power of hope in the face of adversity.
So what does all of this mean for us?
Right.
We live in a world far removed from the epic battles and fantastical creatures of Middle-earth. How can we apply the lessons of the Nazgûl to our own lives?
While the world of Tolkien may seem fantastical, the themes he explores are universal.
Right.
The Nazgûl's story transcends the boundaries of fantasy and offers valuable insights for us all. It prompts us to examine our own motivations, to be wary of the allure of power and the seductive whisper of easy gains.
Yeah.
It urges us to champion the values of compassion, empathy, and justice in our daily lives.
It's like a call to action, isn't it? A call to be the heroes of our own stories.
It is.
To stand up for what we believe in, even when it's difficult, and to never give up hope, even when the shadows seem overwhelming.
Precisely. The Nazgûl may be creatures of fiction, but the forces of darkness they represent are all too real. We see them manifested in greed, hatred, and the lust for power that can corrupt even the best of intentions.
Yeah.
It's up to each of us to choose the path of light, to fight for what we believe in, to make the world a better place.
Right.
One act of courage, one act of kindness at a time.
Well said, well said. And on that note, we'll conclude our deep dive into the world of the Nazgûl. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of Tolkien's rich and complex mythology.
And remember, the journey doesn't end here.
No, it doesn't.
Tolkien's world is vast and full of wonder. There are countless stories waiting to be discovered, countless lessons to be learned. So keep reading, keep exploring, and keep those inner fires of curiosity burning bright.
And keep those lanterns lit, everyone.
Right.
You never know when you might encounter a shadowy figure lurking around the corner. Until next time, may your paths be filled with adventure, wisdom, and perhaps a touch of magic.